massive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream, and welcome to all your Chelsea transfer news. And of course, welcome back to the home of the world champions. Big up to every single one of you that is locked in. Make sure you're smashing up the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And as always, guys, we have got a packed show for you. Loads to dive into with less than 2 weeks of the transfer window left. We have got the latest on the future of Nicolas Jackson, with Aston Villa believed to be pushing hard to sign the Senegal international. We've got the latest on Christopher Nkunku. His move to Bayern Munich now looking very unlikely to happen, but RB Leipzig are confident of agreeing a deal to bring him back to the Bundesliga. All the latest on Xavi Simons, Alejandro Garnacho, Renato Vega, Wesley Fofana, who has removed all traces of Chelsea from his Instagram account, but we don't need to worry about that, chat, because apparently all is fine. And there are no issues between Fofana and Chelsea whatsoever. We've got loads to dive into, people. Loads to dive into. But as always, first things first, guys. Make sure you check out Jersey's FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. Make sure you're looking fresh for the upcoming season in the home shirt, away shirt, or, of course, the new third kit when it drops. Great quality, affordable prices, names, numbers, patches, whatever you want on the back. Make sure you're looking fresh, guys. You don't want to miss out. Link in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. Now, that is enough about that. Let's say hello to some of you lot in the chat, and then we'll get this show on the road. Only 2 weeks until deadline day. Yeah, I hear it. Leipzig, hurry up and pay us the money for Nkunku. Bro, we're not getting 49 million for Nkunku. Chelsea need to hurry up with Simons and Garnacho. Yeah, no, it's all in hand. I am biggest fan. Big up to you. Chelsea is going to win. Yes. Yes, big up, brother. Well, there's not really anything to say. All is fine with Fofana and Chelsea. Any news on a sponsor yet? No, but there will be one in place. Soon. There will be. We won't go another whole season without a shirt sponsor. That will be sorted. Yes, big up, brother. Hope you're well. Yes, hello, bro. Hope you're good. Big up to all the Chelsea fans out in Singapore. Yes, hope you're doing well, Chloe. What else we got going on here, people? Who's going to buy Sterling? I'm getting away, bro. Don't worry about Sterling. The guy's done out here. He's finished. Yes, big up, bro. Hope you're well. Yes, we're good. We're good. We're good. Am I going to West Ham away? Of course I am. Of course I am. Well, where else am I going to be? When Chelsea are playing, where else am I going to be? Yes, big up, bro. Hope you're well. Yes, hope you're well, guys. Right. Introductions, done and all that shit. Right, let's get straight into it, guys. Let's start with Nico Jackson, because there were developments last night in regards to his future. In terms of where he might potentially be going. Let's bring this up now. This is from Eduardo Burgos, who's a good Spanish journalist, in fairness. Nico Jackson's future will be decided this week. The player is clear that he will leave, and Aston Villa are pushing hard. They want a loan with an obligation to buy. Nico likes the idea. Other teams have also approached his agency: Newcastle, Forest, Milan, Inter, and Juventus. So there are a number of teams who are interested in Nico Jackson. Is Chelsea? I get the feeling Chelsea may have to look at exploring a loan deal here, because I just do not see anyone paying. No one's by the way, guys, no one's paying the £80 million valuation. Chelsea, I think, have accepted that, and Chelsea have said, we would accept a fee in line with the situation. In line with fees that other strikers have gone for. So you're looking at between that 60, 65 million pounds. So you're looking at Benjamin Sesko fee, for example. Chelsea would probably settle for an offer around that if that was going to be the case. If that was going to be the case. Loan move makes sense. I don't see Watkins going to Newcastle. I really don't. Newcastle at the moment are playing whatever they're doing with Alexander Isak. That's their decision. That's their prerogative to do whatever they want to do. But I think they do have to make a stand. But I also think they're sort of spiting themselves a little bit here. Go and get your players in. Go and get your players in. And Nico Jackson is absolutely a name on the Newcastle list. He is a name on the Newcastle list. But I get the feeling that Nico Jackson is not particularly high on that list, because if Newcastle wanted Jackson, why have they not bid money for him now? The clock is ticking. They've got money to spend. So that would be my thing. Why have Newcastle not bid for Jackson? For me, Jackson is a name on the Newcastle list, but it's not one of those names that is looking like it's particularly high up, to be perfectly honest. Nottingham Forest, there's no way he goes there. Milan and Juventus, AC Milan could be an interesting one. By the way, if the conditions are right, then you can definitely see Milan coming in with an offer. And for what it's worth, guys, I do think Chelsea would sell for less abroad. Chelsea would definitely sell for less abroad. If they were selling him to Serie A, they would accept less. I think you could do something 55 million pounds, 60 million pounds if he's going to Serie A. But right now, guys, I think the most likely solution for Nico Jackson is a move to Aston Villa on loan. But there has to be an obligation. We are not being taken for mugs in the transfer market where we do a loan with an option and then it doesn't work out and they don't take the option up, and you've got to deal with the situation all over again the following summer. Emery is a big fan of Nico Jackson. We know this. He gave him his debut at Villarreal. Nico's always said in interviews that Emery's played a big part in his career. So, that Jackson would be open to going there. And I think the chance to work under Unai Emery again would be a significant pull for him. Would be a significant pull. But in terms of what Chelsea would be looking for in terms of a loan, look, let's make it perfectly clear, guys. A permanent transfer is absolutely the number one solution. However, Ben Jacobs with an update. Understand clubs interested in Nicolas Jackson are being told a loan with obligation may be possible under the right conditions. £10 million loan fee. That is an expensive loan fee, guys. That is a very expensive loan fee. Let's make no mistake about it. £10 million loan fee. Then if you're doing that, let's say if it drops. So look, realistically, chat, if it's a £10 million loan fee, then you would be looking for an obligation of 55 or 60 million pounds to get that 65, 70 million pound valuation. Would Aston Villa commit to spending £10 million loan fee and then let's say a 60 million pound or 55 million pound obligation next summer? It's a possibility, guys. It's definitely a possibility. One that can't be ruled out. Absolutely one that can't be ruled out. But the way I see it, I still think that's going to be a big, big ask for Aston Villa's finances. I think that's going to be a big, big ask for Aston Villa's finances. £10 million loan fee. 10 million loan fee. I'm not sure I see too many teams paying that. I'm really not sure I see too many teams playing that. I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but look, Nicolas Jackson to Aston Villa absolutely makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. But who can you see paying £10 million loan fee? Because for me, look, Villa fans, if there's any in the chat, I don't know if there are, but Villa fans will know better than me. But I get the feeling, that that Villa £10 million loan fee might be a bit steep for them. I don't know. And we have a Villa fan in the chat. Big up to Jamie. I'm not sure we could afford the wages even on a loan deal, but if we did, is there still a player there? From the outside looking, it seems like he struggled when he was out. His wages aren't that big compared, the wages aren't massive. Yeah, they'll be in excess of 100 grand. I don't know where that would put him in regards to Villa's wage structure. I expect Chelsea would expect the majority, if not all of that, to be covered. There's absolutely a player there. I'm a huge fan of Nico Jackson. I think he offers a lot. He brings a lot to the team. Emery knows him well. And there's definitely a player there. Yes, his finishing needs considerable amount of work, but he will score goals. He works hard and he creates chances out of nothing for himself. He stretches defenses. He runs in behind. there's absolutely a player there, and I'd be more than happy to keep him. Everyone knows that I'd be more than happy to keep him. But I could see him playing wide for Villa. I could see him playing down the middle as well. But it looks like to me, I mean, Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong, does Ollie Watkins still need to leave for another forward to come in? Or now that Bailey's gone and you've sold Jacob Ramsey, do you not need to sell Ollie Watkins now to bring another forward in? Yeah, no, he very much was. He very much was. And as much as Chelsea fans, got onto him and, were critical of him at times, some of it warranted, some of it, in my opinion, massively over the top. There's definitely a very good player there. And I think Jackson for Villa could do a very, very good job. A very good job. Why would we sell to a Premier League team? Because money, at the end of the day. The Premier League are going to offer you the most money. It's as simple as that. And look, playing under Emery makes sense. I think his profile complements Aston Villa's squad. What he needs is runners from midfield to get the best out of him. Aston Villa have got loads of runners from midfield. He needs to work on his play in the box, his alertness, his striking instincts. He needs to work on that in the box. But there's a very good player there, in my opinion, a very, very good player there. But £10 million loan fee, as I said, is steep. But I don't think he's come in. And again, Villa fans in the chat, if Jackson goes to Villa, I don't see him as a replacement for Watkins. You could maybe see a kind of 4-4-2 where Jackson comes in from the left-hand side, or you have Rodgers on the left and you've got Martson bombing forward or on the overlap, whatever it might be. I think this is the move that makes the most sense. And right now, we're in a situation where I don't think Nico Jackson goes to Newcastle. And if he's staying in the Premier League, I don't see him going. He's not going to Nottingham Forest. Let's make that absolutely clear. He's not going to Newcastle, in my view. No chances of he going to Forest. Tottenham, they've got other plans, in my opinion. And Newcastle, I don't see it happening. So that leaves it. That leaves it. But realistically, the only one is Aston Villa. And I think Chelsea will have to change their stance on a sale. I suspect we're going to be seeing a loan with an obligation. I suspect a loan with an obligation for Jackson. No, but they could easily switch it up, and Jackson can play as an inside 10 on the left-hand side. He could easily do that. He could easily do that. I've already said Watkins isn't for sale. If we got him, he'd play more on the left and be the... Yeah, exactly. Because Villa lost Rashford and they lost Asensio. So they've lost Rashford, Asensio and Bailey from the squad last season. Obviously, Daniel Marlin will probably replace Bailey, to be honest, anyway. And then they brought Evan Gessend in. So you could say that's a replacement for, say, Asensio, for example. So there is room for one more forward to come in to replace the numbers that were in the squad last season. The whole Joao Felix experiment from loan to permanent signing was a huge mistake. Yeah, it was a huge mistake. Of course it was. Do I think the Isak transfer goes through? I think it has to. I think it has to, because Newcastle, yes, they want to make a stand, and I appreciate them standing up to this situation and not just allowing Isak to walk all over them. However, you get to a situation where if Newcastle make Isak stay, that's just going to derail their whole season. It's just going to derail their whole season. So I do think it will go through, but it's going to go right to the end. Yes, big up to Villa James. Think it happens next week, Jackson. Watkins is staying on, and on loan and obligation works for Villa. Another big... Yeah, I think that's the only way Aston Villa can do it, is a loan with an obligation. Villa this summer, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they've got the finances to do that. I don't think they've got the finances to do that. And by the way, guys, anyone in the chat that's thinking Morgan Rodgers is going to come to Chelsea, he's not happening. It's not happening. Morgan Rodgers is not coming to Chelsea. If you've got Xavi Simons, who is basically the same profile of player as Morgan Rodgers, you're not going to sign Xavi Simons and Morgan Rodgers. Chelsea would have to be very, very brave and very, very confident, by the way, that they could get Morgan Rogers if they suddenly abandoned a pursuit of Xavi Simons and went all in for Rogers. I cannot see that happening at all. I cannot see that happening at all. What else is coming in the chat? Yep, guys, run the likes up, run the likes up. Asensio could be coming back. Yeah, no, potentially. Potentially. I did see that. I mean, I thought he was going to go to Fenerbahce and then that fell through. Yeah, Morgan Rogers is not coming, guys. Yeah, of course. Everyone would rather that. Of course you would rather that. But yeah, Morgan Rogers is not coming. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, you never know, though. You never know. But at this stage, no. Again, it doesn't say how long Havertz is going to be out for. But yeah, that's short. Let's wait and see. Yeah, look, by the way, Rogers to Chelsea, obviously not happening this summer, doesn't mean it's never going to happen. You know, it could happen at some point in the future, but for this summer, zero chance. Yep, all good. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. I don't know why that's happened. We'll get onto that later on, but everything is fine with Fofana and Chelsea, according to his camp. So, yeah, look. Yeah, and to be honest, people have said this in the chat, you know, over the last week, and I think it's become pretty apparent as well, guys, that a deal for Simons is done, and we're just waiting. We're just waiting for Nkunku to leave. That's the situation that we find ourselves in right now at this point in time. Eze goal wasn't offside. It was ruled out because Mark Gurhey was closer than a meter to the wall, which is a strange one. Bro, I do sometimes worry about people's ability to understand what other people are saying. He explained why he didn't see Fofana or Badiashile as solutions for the central centre-back role. I wasn't talking shit about him. You know, this is where people... Oh, God, here we go. Goodbye. Delete that guy. They do, but again, wait and see whether Nkunku wants to go to Leipzig. As a Villa fan, I can 100% see Rodgers going Chelsea next summer, providing we don't make the Champions League. It sounds like relationships between clubs are in a good place. Yeah, look, Chelsea and Villa have got a good relationship. We've done business with quite a lot of business over the last couple of windows. It wants to play with Palmer, but again, what I would say is Chelsea are very well stocked in that kind of position. So that's the interesting one. You know, players would have to leave from that position that really have only been signed in the last couple of windows. We know Chelsea aren't afraid to move players on quickly, but yeah, that would be an interesting one, 100%. Yeah, Nkunku is a... Oh, yeah, of course they do. Of course they do. But yeah, look, Nico Jackson is this week, maybe next week. Who knows? Well, it has to be next week. It has to be next week because the window closes next week. But yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see what offers come in and where he ends up going. But for me, if Jackson is remaining in the Premier League, it's Aston Villa or no one. It's Aston Villa or no one. Yeah. Fabrizio Romano said many times that it's over for Jackson and Chelsea. He said that on multiple occasions. And we will find out in the next 11 days. We will find out in the next 11 days. But that is the latest. There is a lot of interest in Jackson. Chelsea would be prepared to sanction a loan with an obligation, but they are looking for a £10 million loan fee. They're looking for a £10 million loan fee. Let's see if anyone will pay that. As I said, £10 million loan fee. You're looking at an obligation then, minimum 55 million. You're looking at a £55 million obligation or £60 million obligation. To be honest, at this point now, I don't see Jackson staying. Yeah, bro, I've already seen that. It's basically just a repeat of what he's previously said many, many times. Could I see Jackson staying? If you'd asked me this maybe a week ago, I might have said yes. But I think now with all this latest stuff that's coming out, Chelsea being open to, a loan with an obligation, I think that opens up, possibilities for a few more clubs, and it makes the deal more viable for those clubs. But if he did stay, then Chelsea would absolutely use him. Jackson has not been put to the bomb squad, and he is still training with the first team as normal. I wouldn't expect him to be involved against West Ham. I'm sure Maresca will be asked in a press conference on Wednesday or on Thursday ahead of that game. I'm sure he'll be asked in a press conference about whether Jackson will be involved. But if he did stay, which obviously he won't, but in a hypothetical situation, if he did stay, then he would be reintegrated back into the squad. No, that's gone pretty quiet right now. That's gone pretty quiet. Esteval will be a starter. Esteval within the next few weeks will be a starter. I'm convinced on that. Gittins right now for me doesn't look starting quality. Doesn't look starting quality. Gittins don't look starting quality to me right now. But he will be at some point. He will be. Bro, Brighton aren't bidding for Jackson, and Jackson's not going to somewhere like Brighton. Bro, Arsenal aren't going to come for Jackson either. Yeah, bro, this is what I would do against West Ham. Shift Neto out to the left, start Esteval on the right, and stick with the team as you were. If Tosin's fit, you bring him back in my view. If not, you just stick with that same team. Guys, over 250 in the building. Keep smashing that like button. We're on 80 likes. Let's get this up to 100 likes. Well over 100 likes required. And keep smashing the subscribe button as well. It's free. And we are 95 subscribers away from 18K. So we're getting close now, chat. We're getting close. So please smash the subscribe button. Less than 100 now from the 18K mark. Let's get as many of those chalked off as we can. But most importantly as well, keep smashing the likes. Yes, big up, brother. Oh, no, not writing Gittins off. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But you can tell that Gittins doesn't look ready. Esteval looks a lot more ready than Jamie Gittins does, by the way. Esteval looks a lot more ready than Gittins. But again, if Gittins is given another chance, on Friday, no problem. But I would be looking to start Esteval. I agree on this. No, I don't think he will be hard to sell. Havertz ACL. Is Havertz an ACL? No. Doesn't look like it. No, it's not. It's not been. It just has a knee injury. It just has a knee injury. There's no confirmation of what it is. Set for a spell out with knee injury. At early stage. So prognosis and duration unclear. So yeah, I don't know why people are saying ACL. No, Maresca won't get sacked before Arteta, no. It's depending on how long they're out for, he's out for, that could be a possibility. That could be a possibility. Yeah, it's a knee injury, but by the way, there are many different kinds of knee injury. Knee injury doesn't automatically mean ACL. So look, they don't know what the prognosis is yet. So we wait and see. So yeah, that's the latest on Nico Jackson. Let's wait and see what happens with him. But Chelsea are now, of course, open to a loan with an obligation, £10 million fee. Jackson is clear that he'll leave Chelsea. Aston Villa pushing hard. Nico likes the idea of Villa. So yeah, we've covered off Nico Jackson. Let's wait and see what offers come in for him. So moving from one player who's looking to leave the club to one player who we are looking to bring in. Let's go to that man, everyone's favourite man, Alejandro Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho, because there have been developments there as well, because he has turned down a move to Bayern Munich. Bayern called Garnacho's camp to understand the situation, and the answer was, thanks, fantastic club, but I only want to go to Chelsea. As I've been telling you as of today, he won't go to any other club. So Garnacho is only wanting Chelsea. This badge, he only wants this badge. This badge carrying serious weight. Serious weight. I think part of his reason is probably because he definitely wants to prove Man United wrong. He definitely wants to prove United wrong. I've got no doubt about that in my mind. He wants to prove United wrong. He wants to get one over on them. And Garnacho is waiting, you know. And I've said this many times, what Joe has said here as well. You know, someone who is doing everything they possibly can to want to join Chelsea, I can't knock that. And the really good thing about the players that we've signed this summer and the targets that we've been going for are the fact that every single player, their first choice has been Chelsea, and they've really wanted to join. They've really wanted to join the club. That makes such a big difference. Such a big difference, guys. Something really important, in my view. Really important. So yeah, Garnacho, he turned down an approach from Bayern Munich, and we're waiting now. We're waiting. So that was the latest on that, and then there's a bit more on the Garnacho situation. Let me just find it now. Oh yeah, here we go. Manchester United will not accept a deal worth less than 50 million for Garnacho. They feel he is at least equal to Madueke and that his stats line up well with Jamie Gittins. Which, okay, that's fair enough. I absolutely get that. And they're considerably better, by the way. Garnacho's stats are considerably better than Amari Hutchinson. Amari Hutchinson went for £37.5 million to Nottingham Forest. If United do not get at least £40 million for Garnacho, they've had their pants pulled down. There is no way in any world that Garnacho should be costing less money than Amari Hutchinson. There just isn't. Whatever you think of Alejandro Garnacho, whether this was Chelsea or someone else going for him, the idea, by the way, of Amari Hutchinson, no disrespect to him, but how Amari Hutchinson could be more expensive than Alejandro Garnacho is mental. Absolutely mental. How can Amari Hutchinson be more expensive? How can he be more expensive? How could that be possible? Makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. I don't think we are. I don't think we are. You know, we'll get more than 40 million for Nkunku. All in. Maybe not base fee, but all in, we'll get decent money for Nkunku. Yeah, so you get 25% of the profit. So it's 25% of 17.5 million. So we're in line to get about just under 4 million, I think we're getting. No, they're not getting 50. Man United are not getting 50 million for Garnacho. So they're in a situation now, right? If you want to hold firm at your £50 million valuation, that's absolutely fine. But understand, we're not paying that. He only wants to come to us. And Garnacho has made it very clear on multiple occasions, if I don't go to Chelsea, I'll just sit and wait it out for 6 months. I'll sit and wait it out for 6 months. You're going to pay me my money. I'm going to train on my own. And then I'll move in January. Or I'll move next summer. So for United, they're fucked because they don't want him. And they need money. So it's up to you. You either accept our bid or whatever. You either accept our bid or you significantly reduce your asking price, or we won't buy him. No problem. We won't buy him. 40 million for me, all in, would be the top end of it. Would be the top end of it, absolutely. Would be the top end of it. And I fully expect a deal to be agreed, by the way. I fully expect a deal to be agreed. They will come to some sort of compromise. United won't want Garnacho sitting around for 6 months. They absolutely won't. They absolutely will not want Garnacho sitting around for 6 months. So we'll wait and see. We will wait and see, guys. Because they won't want that. And I get it. I get it, you know. You have to have a valuation of a player, and the market would dictate that Garnacho, unfortunately, he probably is worth £50 million in the market. Because they'll agree on a fee. They'll agree on a fee. It's in the best interests of everyone for this deal to go through. It's in the best interests of everyone. So I am very, very confident the deal goes through. I don't really know, to be honest. I don't really know. But I think it's clear that he doesn't particularly get on very well with Ruben Amorim. I don't know what's going on here, but United they're backed into a corner. We won't pay 50. So you either accept our demands or Garnacho will just sit with you and you'll pay him wages to do nothing until the January window opens. Oh yeah, Forest massively overpaid for Amari Hutchinson, by the way. Massively overpaid for Hutchinson. Yeah, that's mental. I mean, I don't know why anyone would be happy that anyone's injured. That's mad. That is a mad one. Yeah, I don't get any of that shit at all. No, of course he'll be paid. Of course he'll be paid. You know, he's not refusing to play, but United probably won't pick him because he's not part of the plans. He'll be paid. Bro, if you honestly think that that Garnacho won't be paid for 6 months, that just isn't true. No, we won't offer them. No, not particularly. But as I said, if he comes, when he comes, because he is coming, I will support him. Bro, Hincape's not coming to Chelsea. Well, that's fine, bro. You let him sit in the 21s then for 6 months and watch his value go through the floor even more. You know, if he sits in the 21s for 6 months, right? I can tell you for sure, you're never getting 50 million for him if that happens. If he sits in the reserves for 6 months, you'd be lucky to get 25 mil for him. You know, that's the simple reality of the situation. You are not getting decent money for him. That just isn't true. I don't know why people make stuff up that he's not going to be paid. Of course he's going to get paid. Oh, bro, Garnacho's miles better than Amari Hutchinson. What are we doing here? Look, he could play on the right if needed. He's not going to play as a 10. He would predominantly play on that left-hand side. But United just aren't going to... They're not going to pay the... Again, that's not true. That just isn't true. You know, all those players that we need to sell, they will be sold. Nobody needs to be worried about that. No, we haven't got a problem at all. We always sell our players, and people are prepared to pay the money that we want because we've got good players. We're not desperate for Garnacho. If United don't budge on 50, fine. Have a player that you don't want sat in the reserves for 6 months. Really no problem. No problem for us. No problem. Yeah, of course they will. United know they're backed into a corner here, and they know that they're fucked. They know they're fucked because they've made it very clear they don't want the player. Garnacho wants to leave. He only wants Chelsea, and otherwise he'll sit for 6 months and won't play. If United are happy with that, that's fine. No, I don't think he has got anywhere. No, I don't think he has gone anywhere yet. I think Malik Fofana is still at Lyon. Malik Fofana is still at Lyon, guys. So, yeah. We'll see about that. We will see about that. We will see about that. So yeah, look, that's the latest. Garnacho will happen. This is happening. Deals happening will be Garnacho and Simons. Centre back, I've got absolutely no idea. But Garnacho and Simons, in my view, will definitely come in. They'll definitely come in. We didn't pay 55 million for Gittins. And yeah, I agree that Garnacho is worth more than 30 million pounds in this market. But you won't get more than 30 million pounds. So there we go. Yeah, run up the likes, people. What are we on? 117. We're still 250 people in the building. Guys, keep smashing up those likes and keep subscribing. Let's make sure we're heading closer towards the 18k mark. We're into the final 100 now, chat. We are into the final 100. So please keep smashing the subscribe button and keep running these likes up as well. No excuse not to hit 200 likes on this on the stream today, guys. So run it up, run it up. Yeah, he's fit and back. He should be back in training this week. Whether he plays against West Ham, not sure yet. But if not, he'll definitely be back for Fulham, I'd imagine. So that's where we are with Alejandro Garnacho. And there's one more bit on that Garnacho stuff from Romano again. Chelsea believe Garnacho has big potential and can develop into a really important player. He's already been a player on the big stage for many years. He's 21. Chelsea sees value in him. Big opportunity on the market. So that is Chelsea's feelings about Garnacho. That's Chelsea's feelings about Garnacho. I mean, I hope so. I hope so. No, let's be real here. £30 million is not overpaying for Garnacho. Whether you like the player or not, let's be fair. £30 million is not overpaying. It's definitely not overpaying 30 million. No way. No way is it. No way is 30 million quid overpaying. Absolutely no chance. No chance at all, chat. No chance at all. We'll get on to this. No, I don't think that at all. Yes, big up, mate. Big up. Thank you. Yeah. I'll be at West Ham away. Of course. And again with Garnacho, by the way, if it doesn't work out, we'll sell him for more than what we bought him for anyway. Whether that's 12, 18, 24 months down the line. Garnacho will play on the left. And I think Xavi Simons will be an alternative with Cole Palmer. Xavi Simons will alternate with Cole Palmer in that number 10 role. But I do wonder if that limits Simons' minutes a bit, if Garnacho does come as well. I don't really know. But that's kind of the situation that we're in right now at the moment. Bro, 30 million is not too much. Let's not do this. 30 million isn't too much. So yeah, Chelsea see value in him. They see him as a market opportunity. All things that we know the board are looking for. All things that we know the board like. Market opportunity, young player, decent player. So there we are. 30 million is cheap. 30 million is cheap. Let's not pretend otherwise. No, I don't think so. Of course, no players are happy if they're not starting regularly. But make no mistake about it. I said it after the Palace game. Gittins is not ready at the moment. He's still very, very raw. Garnacho comes in. He is starting a lot of games on that left-hand side. A lot of games. Purely because he is ready to play Premier League football. You know, he knows what it takes to play in this league. Gittins doesn't right now. Am I saying that Garnacho is a better player than Gittins? No, not necessarily. But he is far more ready for Premier League football than Jamie Gittins is. So this is what we have to be. This is what we have to be honest about. And this is what we have to be very clear about, chat. I mean, let's not get too carried away on this. Yeah, there's always the possibility that we could fall back on that. There's always the possibility, chat, we could fall back on that one. I agree on that. Absolutely agree on that. But look, I hope he's good for us. I do. Every player that joins this football club, I want them to be good for us. So I'm hoping very much that that's the case. I'm really hoping that's the case. Any update on George's future? No, nothing. That'll be resolved in the next 10, 11 days. Absolutely. I suspect he'll probably go on loan, but George definitely isn't part of the plans at Chelsea this season. You can do that. You could have Palmer in the 10, Xavi Simons. So you could have Xavi in the 10, Palmer on the right, Neto on the left, or Garnacho on the left, whatever you want. It gives you loads of options. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. I really don't know. So there we are. That's the latest on Alejandro Garnacho. But the most important situation right now, chat, the most important situation is Christopher Nkunku. He is the most important situation. This is the guy that is holding things up. This is the one that we need to move out to get anything in. And RB Leipzig are stepping up talks with Chelsea. This was the Ornstein Bombers 6 p.m. last night. RB Leipzig stepping up talks with Chelsea over a deal to sign Christopher Nkunku. Direct contact between clubs on a permanent move for the Chelsea forward. Not close yet. Still other options, but France international open to a Leipzig return. And that's the thing here. He's open to a Leipzig return. But I get the feeling that this would be like a last option. A last option, to be perfectly honest. I think he's got other ideas. Obviously, he wanted to join Bayern Munich. We know that. That now looks very unlikely because the Bayern board are only sanctioning loan moves. Chelsea have made it very clear there's no loans to be done. And I don't get the feeling that that Bayern would want him. I don't get the feeling that Bayern would want him permanently. I really don't. Because once Musiala's back and whatnot, they'll probably sign Nick Voltemade next summer. Do you know what I mean? So that's the position that we seem to be in. Bro, it specifically says not close yet. So it doesn't mean the deal's close. It just means that they're stepping up talks with Chelsea. I mean, this obviously makes the most sense, by the way. It makes the most sense because it allows Simons to come to Chelsea. And it also, by the way, gives Leipzig their Simons replacement straight away. So this makes perfect sense for all parties involved. This couldn't make any more sense if we tried. This couldn't make any more sense. No, but if there's nowhere else for him to go, then I think he would go to Leipzig. I think he would go there. No, I think Nkunku does care. I think Nkunku does care about Champions League football and that sort of thing. I really do believe he does. Well, look, Bayern directors Max Eberl and I think Christoph Freund have been told by the bosses above them they are only allowed to sign players on loan for the rest of the window. Eberl, Freund, and Nkunku are all frustrated. So that's come from the very, very top at Bayern, above the sporting structure. You are only signing loan players for the rest of this window. So that's why the deal's kind of fallen apart. That is exactly why said deal has fallen apart with Nkunku and Bayern Munich. This is the problem, chat. This is absolutely the problem. Inter are interested in Nkunku. I don't know how much money they'd offer. It looks like Lookman probably isn't going to go to Inter. So does that mean that maybe Christopher Nkunku is back into the mix for them? Maybe Nkunku's back into the mix for them. It's difficult to tell, but never say never on the Bayern Munich thing. But it does look like Bayern Munich are now out of the picture, chat. It looks like Bayern Munich are out of the picture for Nkunku. And Chelsea value him at £43 million. Chelsea value Nkunku 43 million. I'm a bit bored of this Nkunku stuff. I'm bored of it. You know, we need to get this guy out. It's not because he's causing a fuss or anything, but because it's affecting us in terms of the other business that we're looking to do in this window. It is affecting us in terms of the other business, and we need that. Arsenal, Christopher Nkunku as a replacement for Kai Havertz, who's injured. It makes sense. It does make sense. It makes a lot of sense. It does make sense. Yes, he's open to the move to Leipzig, but I get the feeling that it's not very high up on his list of priorities. It's not high on his priorities. It's crazy. Donnarumma is cheaper than Garnacho. Should we break our wage structure? That's the only thing stopping us. Bro, I just don't think we're just not interested in Donnarumma. You know, there doesn't seem to be any interest. Whether if his wages were lower, you then suddenly see Chelsea become interested. That's interesting. I don't know how true that's going to be. But yeah, there's a lot going on right now, guys. There's a lot going on. No idea. No idea. No, but there are other options though. There are other options. I don't know how. I don't know what the other options are because I think Bayern's off the table now. But there'll be options from Italy. There might be options within the Premier League as well. Newcastle maybe. Arsenal now with the Kai Havertz news. That is a potential. That's a potential as well. That is a potential as well. Look, if Nkunku goes to Arsenal, I don't really care, to be perfectly honest. It is what it is. I don't see that as a big deal. Yeah, mate, crazy. I don't know why so many people lost their heads after game week 1. Mental. Absolutely mental. But it wouldn't be a surprise, guys, to see Arsenal potentially come in if Havertz is out long term. No, bro, that wouldn't work because we're looking to create space and attack. It's not about creating space in the squad in general. It's about creating space in the attack. It's about creating space in the attack. That's the main thing that this is about. Guys, we're 284 in the building. We still haven't reached 150 likes, guys. Guys, come on. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, people? Run these likes up. 285 in the building, 133 likes. Let's get this to 200 likes as quickly as possible, guys. The community's better than this. Come on, people. Yes, all good, mate. All good. Jackson makes more sense for Arsenal. I don't know if it does, to be honest. Well, if Havertz is out for a significant amount of time, Nkunku would probably see a decent chunk of minutes. He would see a decent chunk of minutes. I don't think there's any denying that he'd see a decent chunk of minutes. 100% he would. But yeah, look, the Nkunku thing is an interesting one. But I think Arsenal will look at it. But there won't be a swap deal. Even if he goes to Leipzig, it's 2 separate deals. It's not a swap deal. It's not a swap deal. So let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait and see on that one. We will wait and see. But that's the latest on Nkunku. Move to Bayern Munich seems off. Leipzig have stepped up talks. Let's wait and see. But we need a resolution. We need a resolution this week, chat. And we're already halfway through Wednesday. We need a resolution this week on it. We need a resolution this week. We need a resolution this week. It has to be. It has to be. Because time is of the essence here. No, they definitely won't. They definitely won't. No, look, I'm a massive fan of Eze, but look, that boat's gone now. Ben Jacobs tweet. Let's have a look. Yeah, potentially. Look, I think Renato Vega to Atletico, sorry, to Villarreal makes sense. You know, there's one about Chukwuemeka from Ben Jacobs. An exclusive. Juventus have approached Chelsea. We'll get into Chukwuemeka. We've got a few more bits to go through. I don't know if it is going down to the last day because Chelsea need to get Simons in. So I don't personally see it going down to the last day. No. I honestly expect something to be done this week. I honestly expect something to be done this week. Well, at the moment, nothing's happening with Chilwell. But yeah, you can't keep waiting. At some point, you are gonna have to go and do something. You are gonna have to go and do something. I mean, look, there's still time left in the window. There's a lot of time left. There's what, 12 days left, 11 days left. I think Garnacho, yeah, could very likely be last day. Could very likely be last day. But let's see. But yeah, that's the latest on Nkunku, guys. Let's move to Xavi Simons. Mate, we're not getting Romanessa. You know, he'll be a big part of Palace next season, particularly if Eze leaves as well. He's a very talented young player, but there's been no links whatsoever. And this is what I've always said as well. How many times have I said this, chat? Don't worry about player sales. We always get the players shifted, and nothing's changing my opinion of that. Nothing's changing my opinion of that whatsoever. We always get the players shifted. We always do. And my confidence on that hasn't dipped whatsoever. Hasn't dipped at all. And I feel exactly the same about it. Exactly the same about it. Yeah, certainly appears that way. But let's move away from Nkunku. And talking about wasting time, Xavi Simons. Matt Law reported yesterday that Chelsea have already it wasn't agreed a deal. I can't remember the exact terminology he used. They've set up a deal. Xavi Simons only wants Chelsea. He's told that to his family, agents, people close to him several times, and to other clubs interested. The deal depends on Chelsea's outgoings. So yeah, nothing to worry about with this. Nothing to worry about with this whatsoever. Xavi Simons will come. When he's going to play, fuck knows. So yeah, look, Simons is exactly the same as where we were. A deal's been set up, and we are now waiting for Nkunku or Jackson to go. Most likely to be Nkunku first. Most likely to be Nkunku first. But there's an interesting update on Simons, by the way. Because according to Romano, another important English club, not Man City or Arsenal, tried to sign Xavi Simons. But the player position is that he wants Chelsea. So someone else has tried to come in. I mean, Arsenal were interested. I don't know how much went of that. City, there were reports of a hijack. I wonder who the other one would be. I don't see it as Newcastle. Was it maybe Manchester United? Was it Tottenham maybe? Could have been Spurs. Could have been Spurs, chat. I mean, it's got potential that it could have been Spurs. Particularly if they're looking for like a Maddison kind of replacement. as well. That would have made sense. That would have made sense in my view. So maybe it was Tottenham, but Simons has had obviously interest from other clubs, but he has insisted the entire way through this, he only wants Chelsea. Nothing has changed in that regard. And we will get our man. We will get our man. No, but it's not. We're not limiting it to that. We're not limiting it to that. We're not limiting it to that at all. You know, we're just creating space in the squad. We're just creating space in the squad. No issues there for me. Guys, keep smashing the likes as well. 157. Let's get this up towards 200. We're still over 250 in the building. We're still over 250 in the building. So, yeah, keep smashing up those likes. We're not crumbling. I don't know why people think we're crumbling. We've sold over £200 million of players this summer, and we've got probably another £150 million worth of transfer fees to rake in between now and the end of the window. We're not going to crumble and sell players on the cheap. We're not. I don't know why people think that. Jackson, I think, could be a loan with an obligation, but then again, there's some level of permanency to that. So that's not a complete disaster. But yeah, Xavi Simons will wait him. Simple as that. He wants Chelsea. Xavi Simons is showing that he's proper Chelsea already, turning down multiple other offers on the table. And that is that. But let's move away from that. Let's talk about Carney Chukwuemeka, because this is one player that it could be difficult to move on. This is one player it could be difficult to move on. Let's have a look at it quickly. Where is it? So it's Carney Chukwuemeka. Juventus have approached Chelsea about signing Carney Chukwuemeka. Chelsea continue to insist on a permanent transfer. Dortmund have already had multiple offers rejected. I suspect this would be a loan offer from Juventus. These Italian clubs are just as bad as these Bundesliga clubs. I can imagine it now. Loan with an option to buy for 10 million euros. That's what I can imagine this offer coming in from Juventus. Yeah, hi guys. We'll give you a loan offer, and then what we'll do is we'll put an option to buy for 10 million euros. Just an option to buy for 10 million euros. We probably won't take you up on that, but yeah, option to buy for 10 million. Yeah, Arsenal are back in the market for a forward. Look, of course, I don't see them spending big money. They might go Arsenal for Jackson, I think no. Arsenal for Nkunku, possibly. We'll still sell him. You know, I've got no issue that for me, there's no way that these players will still be here come the close of the window. They won't. I mean, West Ham were reportedly interested, but again, I don't know why there's not an awful lot of Premier League interest in him. But that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. You know, that is just the way it is, guys. There is interest from West Ham. Leipzig have looked. Dortmund. Juventus now as well. But it's just so annoying that he wants to join Dortmund, who are notoriously a joke to negotiate with when they're trying to buy your players. And now it's Juventus. Bundesliga and Italian clubs, you don't want to do this. You don't want this. You don't want this at all. This is not what you want, chat. Anyone that comes in, for your players, you are not wanting a situation of Bundesliga or Serie A coming in. And that's what we've got. He wants Dortmund, who did a loan with an obligation for £15 million. No, thank you. And then it's Juventus coming in with probably a loan. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, guys. Is there any danger that we could possibly not have someone actually have clubs that have got a bit of money to spend and aren't going to try and take the piss out of us with these nonsense loan deals? Yeah, of course it's a loan deal. Of course it's a loan deal. You know, they're just, at this point, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? At this point, it is just absolutely ridiculous. Why? I mean, seriously, guys. These Italian clubs, respectfully, just no. Yep, and as expected. Loan deal. Juventus want Chukwuemeka on loan. Let's see what this article's saying. Juventus have approached Chelsea over a move to sign attacking midfielder Carney Chukwuemeka. The 21-year-old has been facing an uncertain future all summer. He's been limited to just 32 games since he joined the club. Chelsea allowed the youngster to join Dortmund on loan for the second half of last season. Dortmund have since had another loan offer rejected, with their latest bid including an obligation to buy. Chelsea are pushing for a permanent sale of the England youth international in their quest to bring in more players before the window shuts. Yeah, we don't want none of... So there we are. Chukwuemeka, another one. Him, Sterling and Chilwell, I think those are going to be the most difficult ones to get rid of. I've got to be real. We're going to be difficult to get rid of. Mate, I'm live every day. Well, I wasn't live yesterday because there wasn't really much happening. But yeah, pretty much every day. There'll be content going out every day. So yeah, I'll be live tomorrow. I'll be live later as well. If there's any major developments, we will be there. We will be there with anything major. Why are people entering for Carney for loans? I don't know. I don't know. Surely all these clubs, they know the stance. They know the situation. This guy is not available for a loan. Loan with an obligation, we might do. Loan with an obligation, potentially. But yeah, now I'm just not seeing it any other way, chat. Loan with an obligation, possibly last resort. But why is no one just doing a permanent bid? I think everyone's just worried about his injuries. Potentially, maybe they are worried about the injuries. I don't know, but this sort of a deal just seems ridiculous in my view. It just seems pretty stupid. You know you're not getting loans, but there we are. Chukwuemeka, another one. Him, Sterling and Chilwell, those are going to be the three most difficult players in my view to get rid of this summer. Those will be the three most difficult ones to get rid of. The three most difficult ones to get rid of will be those guys. 100%. No, because that was on a podcast that was recorded yesterday or whatever. He hasn't just suddenly said that. And he said that it's over between Jackson and Chelsea weeks ago as well. So it's got nothing to do with Havertz. Nothing to do with Havertz. No, that's not true. Chelsea don't want Piero Hincapié. That definitely isn't true. No, Carney's not on big wages. Carney's not on big wages. I mean, there'll be bigger wages than some players at Chelsea. and maybe it's bigger wages than some clubs can afford. But he's not on ridiculous wages. He's not on ridiculous wages, chat. Yes, big up to Texas Blue for the super chat. Appreciate it. Big up, brother. Oh, mate, yeah, these guys were on me. That sounded a bit weird, but yeah, no, they were getting on to me. That doesn't even sound much better either. But yeah, they were yeah, they were pressing me. I can't lie. I was in the Jurgen Klopp Gegen press. It was looking peak. But yeah, no, I felt I dealt with it pretty well, and yeah, we'll see what happens throughout the remainder of the season. But those guys, best believe, if their teams start dropping points or dropping out of a title race, they will be receiving the same treatment. But no, it's all love, it's all fun, and I know some people don't believe it, but but we are all good mates. So yeah, there we are. But big up to you, brother. Bro, respectfully, who the fuck is that? Who is that? I don't think I've ever heard of that person or seen anything. Who even is that? Who is that? Yes, big up, brother. Big up to you. Yeah, guys, keep smashing up the likes. We're on 180 likes. Let's get these final 20 likes in. Come on, people. Let's get these final 20 likes in. So what have we done? We've done Chukwuemeka, done Xavi Simons. Oh yeah, let's quickly have a little laugh at West Ham about this bloody Andre Santos thing. Because West Ham, look at this, people. West Ham had an approach for Andre Santos rejected by Chelsea and have been advised to not try again. Are these guys okay? Are these guys okay? Are they okay? It's mental. Absolutely mental. Have some shame, West Ham. Have some shame. As if that was ever happening. As if this was ever happening. Let's see what this article was saying. Let's have a look. West Ham have submitted bids for Southampton's Mateus Fernandes and Barcelona's Marc Casado as they scramble to add energy and creativity to their midfield. The club also had an approach for Andre Santos rejected by Chelsea earlier this week and were advised not to try for the Brazilian midfielder again. They were told off. They were told in no uncertain terms. Don't you ever come here and try and do that again. Don't you ever come here and try and do that again. That's the little conversation we've had with West Ham. Don't you ever come here and do this to us again. If you think about picking up the phone and asking about Andre Santos again, your number will be blocked. Your number will be blocked. That's effectively the situation. What's happening here? Look, you've got to appreciate the outrageousness. You've got to appreciate the outrageousness sometimes. You do have to do that. And fair play to him. But mental. Absolutely mental. But there we go. Fair play to West Ham for trying. And it would be funny if Santos did score against West Ham on Friday. And he should have scored against Palace, which is poor. Should have scored against Palace, which is poor. Um, no, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I mean, look, it can't be ruled out, but I'm suggesting that situation would be unlikely. I'm suggesting that situation would be unlikely, chat. But yeah, anyway, just thought we'd briefly cover that because it's quite funny what these clubs will try and do. It is quite funny. It is quite funny, I have to be honest. Yeah, they were terrible. And let's get into this Fofana thing, right? Because basically, so contact within the Wesley Fofana camp says all is well and no issues. He'd reportedly deleted all Chelsea-related stuff from his Instagram, but now that doesn't appear to be the case. Now that doesn't appear to be the case, chat. Let me just quickly check his Instagram profile. Hold on. What is it? Lawset, isn't it? What the fuck is what's Wesley Fofana's Instagram? Let's just type his name in. Oh, there we go. So yes, it doesn't say Chelsea in his bio, and all Chelsea-related pictures have gone. But yeah, he's been posting on his story. No big deal, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know why this is a big deal. There's still the Chelsea photo. There's still when he signed, he's got that there. That's up. So yeah, look, people love to make a massive deal out of these things. Why it's been deleted, I've got no idea. But yeah, I mean, people love it. People absolutely love it. People absolutely love it. It's no big deal. I don't know why people get so worked up about these things and they lose their heads and they say, "Oh, get rid of him. It's this, it's that. It's all terrible and whatever." Yeah, exactly. There's nothing more to it. I don't know why people get sort of pay so much attention to this stuff. Contacted his camp. All well, no issues with Chelsea. If they just look, whether people want to believe that or not, that is entirely up to them. But Fofana, hoping he stays fit more than anything, has got a massive role to play this season. Massive role to play this season. And people do overthink things. People absolutely overthink things. You know, I don't. I'm really not that arsed by it. I mean, oh my God, some pictures have disappeared from his Instagram. Like, Jesus Christ. I mean, is this really something to be concerned about? It's just it's just his social media account. It's just his social media account. What's the big deal? What is the big deal here? We could do. He was on the bench against. He was on the bench against who? Palace. I've got absolutely no idea. I don't know. I don't have the answers to this stuff. I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know what the reason for that was, but For me, exactly. It's not like he said something terrible about the club or done something terrible. Let's just get him back on the pitch as quickly as possible. Let's just get him back on the pitch as quickly as possible. But I don't think there's anything to be concerned about in that regard. Don't think there's anything to be concerned about in that regard. Definitely not. So people just need to relax. People just need to relax on that. No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't know why people might. If people want to, if people think that, then that's what. Well, yeah, fine. No, it doesn't bother me. But I wonder why people think that. I wonder why. No, exactly. Do you really think right now the centre back situation, as it is, that we would get rid of another one? Of course we wouldn't. Of course we wouldn't get rid of another one. So yeah, look, I think the Fofana stuff is just. I don't think there's much to it. I really don't think there's much to that Fofana stuff, guys. So yeah, I wouldn't be getting annoyed about it or giving it too much thought. Wouldn't be concerned about any of that. But yeah, of course it's a bit odd. Yeah, of course it's a bit strange, Of course it is a bit strange. But again, I don't think it's anything to sort of lose our heads over or to be concerned about or to spend time thinking about and being worried about. That's all that I'd say on that. That's all I'd say. No, fair enough. Fair enough. People can think are entitled to view this how they want to view it. Yeah, no, I can absolutely understand that point of view. I hope he's ready to play as soon as possible. I hope he's ready to play as soon as possible. Simple as that. Let's just get this guy back on the pitch as quickly as we possibly can, chat. And he absolutely will be. When he's fit, he absolutely will be. There's no denying that whatsoever, in my opinion. When he's fit, he 100% will be. So there we are. There we are, chat. Let's have a look what else is going on here. Let's have a look what else is going on. Let's have a look. Doesn't look like there is. Let's have a look. Who should be more annoyed? Wes that constantly keeps getting injured and throws a fit and not playing? How do we know he's throwing a fit at not playing? That's just a presumption. No, look, he's had a lot of injury issues. Of course he has. But for me, he's Chelsea's best defender. When he's fit and playing at his best, he's Chelsea's best. Bro, he's not an average centre-back. He's better than anything we've got. When he's fully fit and playing his best, he's better than anything we've got. He absolutely is. I don't know why was I hearing myself back then? What the fuck was that about? I don't know if this is banter or not, but big up, big up. Yeah, if there's a Chelsea community in North Korea, big up to them. You know, big up to them. And if you are watching from there, then fair play. But hey, there's a first for everything, guys. There's a first for everything. Oh, the Bastoni stuff was shut down instantly. Instantly shut down. Yeah, there's instantly closed down that. Yeah, on loan, some broke loan deal. So yeah, that's sort of where we're at, guys. That is sort of where we are at with everything right now. And it is going to be a big 10, 11 days between now and the end of the window. It's going to be a big 10, 11 days. Lots to get into, chat. Lots and lots to get into. Exciting stuff to get into as well. Exciting stuff. 2 more signings, hopefully. Maybe a third and a centre-back. I'd be very grateful for that. But whether the club decide to back Maresca with it, we have to wait and see. Busy days ahead. And one thing we can guarantee, whether it's deals we want, who knows? But one thing we can absolutely guarantee, chat. One thing we can guarantee, there will be deals happening. Ins and outs, deals will happen. They absolutely will. So this is exciting. This is exciting, chat. Well, one journalist said that, and I haven't seen it reported anywhere else. I haven't seen it reported anywhere else. So yeah, we wait and see. We wait and see. But yeah, deals are going to happen, guys. Deals are happening. Deals will happen. So we just got to sit tight and be a little bit patient. No, I don't think that will happen. I don't think that will happen. We'll get more than that. We will absolutely get more than that. 100%. No, I don't think we'll lose to West Ham. No, I would be shocked. I really would be shocked if we lost to West Ham, guys. I'd be stunned if we did. I don't see that happening at all. Would be shocked. Would be absolutely shocked. I don't know whether we'll run up a 4, 5, or 6 or whatever. I don't know if we will, but yeah, I think absolutely we've got the capabilities to go and win that game by 2, 3 goals comfortably, and kind of get that first 3 points of the season on the board. Chat. That's what we've got to do. That is exactly what we've got to do. But yeah, guys, we'll have one final flick through to see if there's anything newsworthy that has come in these last few minutes. I would doubt it, but we'll check anyway. We will check anyway. No, doesn't look like there is. Doesn't look like there is. Right, guys, going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone that's tuned in this afternoon. Greatly appreciate all of the support and everyone in the chat. Big yourselves up. Enjoy, guys. Said I'll be back. Well, won't be back. Well, if there's anything major, I'll be back later on today. If not, I'll be back tomorrow. We've got the West Ham opposition preview dropping this afternoon, 4 or 5 p.m. UK time. So make sure you check that out. We've got Dan Lawless, my guy from West Ham Fan TV, on the show. So make sure you check that one out, dropping 4 or 5 p.m. UK time. I'll be back later on if there's any major developments. If not, people, we will be back again tomorrow going through all the latest Chelsea transfer news. Let's see what excitement the next 24 hours has got in store for us. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday afternoon. Enjoy your day, guys. Smash the like, subscribe, up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.